Hey, can you hear me, Nick?
Hi, Barbara.
Hey,
I can hear you.
good.
Nice to meet you. Mario, Robert, Tim. Like people are starting to come on.
Uh-oh, I lost you.
We're all here.
Okay, got you back.
Hello,
Okay,
everybody.
Before you get started here, I got to make sure that we're live streaming out to the listen only line. So just a second here. Well, you can start talking if you want, but in the meantime, I'm going to work on getting this going out to YouTube as well.
okay. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hey, doing good.
Hey,
So what
Barbara.
you'll do is you'll stay on mute until you have a question, and then you can unmute yourself and ask a question. So who wants to start? Tony, you?
Have a question. It's regarding an IRA. I take an IRA withdrawal every month, just for living expenses at this point. And I'm wondering if you know if I can convert some of it to a self-directed IRA so I can continue using that for my monthly withdrawal until I've made enough money where I don't need to do that. I don't know if I can divide it up like that.
Well, Ron recommends that you get a Roth IRA, and so for your IRA, it's best to contact your provider, your IRA company, and see what would be best for you so they could best advise you on your current situation and your contributions and everything, and they'd be the best one to advise you on that.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I guess we should make introductions, Nick, and let everybody know what the call is all about. So you want to do that? Or should I do that? So this is the regular Q&A call that is this time every month, and it is for you to ask questions, Gold Club members. So welcome everyone. Do I need to give them any other instructions for logging in? I'm assuming the ones that are here are here. If they can't get in, well, they're here, so they're in. So any other instructions, Nick?
Nope, we just do this the second Monday of every month. It's a benefit to Gold Club members. If you're on here on the Zoom call, you obviously are a Gold Club member, and you can ask questions to Barbara. We usually have a different person each month. One of our mentors, Barbara, this month. Sometimes Ron is on here, and we just change it up so you get a different perspective from all of our different mentors and from Ron and everybody else.
Yes, so those of you that don't know me, I'm Barbara Legrand Cockrell. I'm Ron's sister. I am one of the mentors. Been doing this a really long time, and I absolutely love mentoring students. So I welcome everybody on the call tonight and your questions. So if you have a question, then just go ahead and take yourself off mute and then ask the question. But be sure to leave your phone on mute for the other time so any background noise or music won't interfere with the call. So who's next? Who has a question? Tony. Okay, Tony, let's see what your question is.
Hey, Barbara. So
Hey.
great to see you on here. You're looking good and everything.
Thank you.
So here's my question.
Okay.
I know that for years, Ron did not buy anything off the MLS. He really didn't work with realtors at all because he was working more for folks that didn't have listed properties. That's kind of changed lately. I think he's now open and doing more, and you're sending him leads every day. Can you give us some insights on how we should work with realtors in this new environment in terms of being able to use deals off the MLS?
Absolutely. First of all, if you're going to talk to them, you want to call them realtors and not realtors. I happen to be one of those. And so, yes, I work with Ron regularly. And so what you want to do is get a realtor on your team that will be you would be the buyer, so they would be your buyer's agent. And so it costs you nothing, by the way. I don't know how knowledgeable you are about the process, but a listing, the listing agent pays the agent's commission, at least where I am. That could change in your area, but it's customary for the listing agent to pay the commission. So therefore, you as the buyer aren't going to have to pay any commission. So you certainly want to use an agent, and then you want to be loyal to that agent because that's how that agent gets paid. When they make your offer and the offer gets accepted, they get a commission from that. So Tony, to answer your question, Ron, how do you work with, I think your specific question was, how do you work with your realtor? You just want to get a good realtor that's on your team that you can work with, and tell them you want to make offers, you want to make deals. So you would get them to set you up on an automatic listing, on an automatic email, and it's pretty simple. They're not doing a lot of work for you, but what they'll do is you give them the criteria that you want. In Ron's case, he has it where he's looking for homes for $150,000 or less, and he wants a minimum of 2 bedroom, 1 bath, minimum of 1,000 square feet, and certain areas. So you just tell your realtor what your criteria is, and it would change for your area based on basically what your average price house is or what you're looking for. So your realtor can then set up a search with those parameters and send it to you as often as you want. They can send it to you every single day. And all they do is set it up once and it comes to you, and then it comes to you on an email each day. And then you look for the ones that you want to make an offer on. So you would want to obviously check out the property and guess what your ARV is on it and kind of guesstimate what your repairs would be on it to make the offer. And then in some situations you can make the offer before you go look at it, but suggest that you go look at it before you make the offer, because you want to make your offer strong. And so to do that, you can put in there, the best thing is 3-day inspection period. And the reason being is because when you place an offer, the binder would be due 3 days after acceptance, and therefore you have those 3 days to make sure that you've looked it over really good and you check inside to make sure those repairs are really what you thought they were going to be and that your numbers make sense. So if you recall, or if you weren't at the last boot camp, we were discussing that the best way to get offers accepted is to get your agent to use an escalatory clause. And that means that you will use that clause, you'll make your offer, but you're very competitive out there. So if you use an escalatory clause, then you can say that you will offer up to X number of dollars over the highest offer with a cap. So you might make your offer for, let's say, $115,000, but you might be willing to pay $120,000. You don't want to make that offer that high. So that's good to use, and a lot of agents don't know about that. So does that answer your question on how you would work with the realtor?
It does. It's very helpful. When you send that information to Ron, obviously, well, I don't know. I don't want to say obviously. Do you have that information in terms of what you think the repairs that are needed are? Or does that, because even to know whether it's something you should be interested enough in to go take a look at it, there has to be some information that you might have, some kind of ballpark figure to understand what the repairs are going to be to even make it worth your while. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. That's what you do on your homework, on your end. No, Ron doesn't do that. He has an acquisitionist. So the acquisitionist will look at the ARV, and sometimes I help them with that as well, the value. So a realtor can pull an RPR report, but you don't want them doing this for you every time, because you're not going to make offers every time, and they're going to get burned out and don't want to deal with you. So you got to do your own homework too. So you can, so your question was the repairs. So you want to kind of guess the repairs by looking at it and say, oh man, this needs this, or it's a total rehab, or sometimes there's comments in the section and you kind of look at it and you can guess, or you could ask how old's the roof, how old's the AC. But generally on those kinds of deals, keep in mind that you're making cash offers. So cash offers, what's going to be a cash offer to you? It's going to be a house that it's going to be a deal. So generally to get those offers accepted, it's going to be a fixer-upper. So it's going to need repairs. So you want to do your homework, and that's how you get really good at estimating repairs. And so you would do that before you put the offer in, because you want to know your ARV. You want to use your Mayo formula. What's your Mayo? Most amount you offer. And to
Right.
figure that out, let's say under 300,000, that's going to be 70% of the ARV minus repair costs. So you got to want to get a good feel in when you make the offer. So that's why you can go take a look at it first and get an idea, or you can kind of guesstimate whether you think you're even going to be in the realm of what they're asking now to see if they're even going to be anywhere close to meeting your Mayo formula with your offer. Does that make sense? If
It does.
you're not asking too much. So sometimes he kills the deal when he goes to look at it, but most of the time he has a really good idea what he is going to offer and the value and the repairs before he even makes the offer.
Okay, so your 3 data points, if I understand correctly, are number one, there might be some comments in the listing that you send over to him. There might be pictures that help you figure that out, right?
Absolutely pictures.
And then those 2 things accepted, the third level of due diligence, if you will, before you make an offer, is actually putting eyeballs on it and seeing what you can find out by taking a look at it to figure out what those estimated repairs are.
Absolutely.
Got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Who else has a question?
Hey, Barbara, Richard Hudak, how are you?
Good.
Long
Very
time no
good.
see. I was down there in Jacksonville with you and Ron, of course, and the whole team. So anyway, we sat next to each other, I think, as well down there. So good. Okay, Barbara, so you may not know it, but Ron knows it and the team knows it. I am in Facebook jail regarding the marketplace. And I don't know what I did wrong. And of course, Nick was a big help on that. So getting right to the point, though, is that they shut me down on that one. I opened up another account and 6 seconds later, they shut me down. So as it turns out, I appealed it and they came back and said, sorry, once and done. We are no longer appealing it. You're finished. Now, that means only in a marketplace. So that forced me to have to hire a management firm on a property that we just took over recently. And I want to go ahead and market it out for rent to own. And I've got on the Zillow, I got it Craigslist and other places. But this marketing person is a management company. He will be marketing on his professional Facebook marketplace. He will be embedding my number, which will be a Pat Live number. But what he does, though, he does not list how much the rent is, and he does not list any purchase price, but he does list rent to own. So now all my callers, my prospects will be going to Pat Live, but their script is Ron's script, your script. You know, how are you? How much do you have for a down payment? How much can you afford per month? Is that acceptable when we're not listing even the purchase price, or should we change up that script?
You should change up. Well, the script's okay, but you should list the purchase price. Ron tells you not to mention the down payment,
Agreed.
but you should list the purchase price. They need to know if the house is even in their realm of value that they can afford. So
Okay.
there's no reason not to mention the purchase price in it.
I agree. It's just his management firm's been doing this 12 years, thousands of them. And he says, I never, ever list the purchase price.
Okay.
So that's what he says.
It's different if you're building a buyer's list, Richard, or if you're trying to
Okay.
market a specific house. So maybe just building a buyer's list for you, and then you can screen them accordingly. And of course, then you use your script to screen them to find out how much they have to put down and how much they can afford monthly.
Right.
So if you're trying to sell a specific house, when he puts it in there, does he have pictures of the house?
Oh, sure. Yeah, he's got it all listed and the address and the whole works. You know, beautiful photos, great write-up, but just no purchase price and no monthly rent. I don't want monthly rent, but I would think, because even me, I listed the purchase price on Zillow and Craigslist.
Price, because you're
Okay.
pretty much set on the purchase price. That's not something you're usually negotiating.
Agreed.
You can negotiate the rent a little bit and have a little flexibility, and definitely the down payment. But again, Ron recommends listing the purchase price.
I agree, Barbara. Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Richard. Okay, who else has a question?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can. Who's talking?
This is Derek in Philadelphia. I got if it's not too much, I have 3 questions, but let me know if that's too much. From Richard, we would like to know, so we don't make the same mistake, what rule got you kicked out? If we could, we'd like to
Okay.
know.
So they told me that I did not follow community standards. And when I questioned, I said, look, I've read all the guidelines, I've read everything. What did I do wrong? Nick gave me some advice, and from here, Nick, and he said, well, perhaps you listed your phone number in the Facebook Marketplace ad, which is kind of a no-no. And then also he said, well, you put in all caps, rent to own with exclamation marks. I said,
Okay.
possibly not that either.
Yes, you don't want to be putting all caps in there. They don't like that. And that's for sure. And the phone number, because Facebook doesn't want you taking it off Facebook. They want to keep it in that platform.
Okay. All right. And my other question now, this will give away I'm a total newbie. Regards to the first question, submitting a bid on the MLS to a realtor.
Okay.
Couldn't I do some due diligence by just sending a contractor to look at the house and estimate the bids, to estimate the repair for me?
Well, Derek, you certainly can, but you're going to be wasting a lot of his time if you don't have a very good idea whether this deal is going to make sense. You're not going to send that contractor out on every house that you're planning on making an offer for. He's not going to be working with you too long because you won't get all these offers accepted. So you got to do your homework, and if you feel like it's a good deal and then you get it under contract, then you have a little bit of a grace period, and then you can send your contractor out there before the inspection period ends to make sure that you got an adequate estimate of what it's going to take to do that. But you got to do your homework and have a pretty good idea of the repair cost to even place an offer.
All right. I was liking Ron's answer. The less I do, the more I make. I thought I could do even less than that. But one more question, so you'll know for sure I'm a total newbie, and that is, if I do a terms deal, can I receive a non-refundable option deposit in my name, in my bank of the HIP National Bank, but still get the monthly spread and any back end in my IRA?
No. So let me clarify this. We went off the topic of MLS because we're not doing terms in the MLS, but we're just talking about a terms deal, right?
Okay, yeah, is this session only for MLS questions?
No, not at all. But you
Okay.
asked the question about the MLS, making offers
Right.
in the MLS. So I just wanted to clarify that if you're making an offer in the MLS, it's not likely going to be a terms offer, and they are going to want you to pay cash. So now we're
Right.
talking about a whole different scenario of making an offer for a terms buyer, so a
Correct.
terms deal for a seller. So your question was, can you take the non-refundable option deposit in your LLC or your company or whatever, and then can you have the payments go to your was it your IRA?
Yes.
Okay. Well, first of all, to do this, if you're going to do it through your IRA, you want to have an LLC owned by your IRA. So that would be the LLC that would manage the payments and everything. So you wouldn't want to, so you wouldn't want to put it directly into your IRA. You'd want to set up an LLC that is owned by your IRA to do business in that.
Right, the land trust and then the LLC all owned by the IRA.
Okay, well, if
But
if it's owned by the IRA, if it's the LLC owned by the IRA, then that would be the one that you should take the non-refundable option deposit and the payments in.
So I shouldn't make a mess by getting a deposit directly to me, but then everything else into the land trust through the LLC owned by the IRA. In
Right.
other words, I should not split it, is the answer.
You should not split it.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right, that's what I
Land
did.
trust is how you take ownership of it. The land trust has nothing to do with the payment of it. It's just the land trust declares the trustee and the beneficial interest. So, but the trustee of the land trust could be the one that is the LLC. In other words, they're the ones that when you go to sell that property, then the title company is likely to make the check payable to the trustee, which could be your LLC owned by your IRA. But you don't want to make a mess of it. No, you want to just keep it in the right account.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, that helps. Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else has a question?
Hey, I have a question.
Okay. Hi, Tim.
Hey, nice to meet you all. First time here, new member. And I actually have a question about exiting a current deal that I'm in. I actually have a flip project going on right now. And long story short, um, I won't be making any profit on it if I straight out sell the property to a retail buyer. So I am I'm thinking about exiting this flip using some kind of creative exit, and I keep thinking about the lease option in it of some sort. But the problem is, I have a hard money loan, and the hard money loan is due in May. So I was looking to see if you have any advice about exiting this hard money loan and getting another way to exit this property getting without using my own credit to first get a long-term loan on it.
Well, okay. First of all, and Ron would never advise you using your own credit to get a long-term loan on it. That's exactly what he's against. He doesn't want you to be personally liable for any debt.
That's exactly
Oh.
why I asked the questions to specify without using my own credit, because I know he speaks against that for sure.
Okay.
He's
That
gonna
means
need,
putting a loan in your name too. So you wouldn't want to put a loan in your name. So, Tim, if you said it's a fix and flip. So obviously you borrowed money in the beginning to purchase it and do the rehab. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what Ron usually advises, if you put money into it to buy it, then that's when you want to cash out. So, you said you wouldn't make any money off of it. Now, if you buy on terms, you can sell on terms, but if you buy on cash and you have a private lender or whatever, then you want to sell it, usually retail, to recoup your money out of it.
Well, that's what I was trying to see a way to exit this deal, because the main problem is I will not get any profit on it because of contractor issues and budget going over budget. So I won't get any profit if I just straight out sell it. And I was thinking about maybe I'll just make up for that money that I lost by holding on to it long term, maybe even through a lease option in it and using the deposit as some of the way to get back some of the money I would have lost, along with the monthly payments that they'll make to me too. So just trying to see how I can do another creative exit without creatively exiting this project without using my own credit.
Well, you're going to have to take a look at the money that you've got in it from the private lender and the money that's due him. You said it's due in May. So maybe that you go back to the private lender and see if he'll extend the loan where you could do a lease option tenant buyer to recapture some of that non-refundable option deposit. I don't know what kind of terms you have with that private. Is it a private lender or hard money lender? If it's a private lender,
It's hard money.
hard money?
Yes.
Okay, well then they may not be very negotiable, but you might go back to that lender and see if they might extend that loan for you, but you've got to look at the numbers on what that loan is costing you per month going forward. I don't know what kind of agreement you did, but you look at that, what is it going to cost you going forward if they'll extend it, and if that's possible, and the money that you pay on that versus if maybe they'll just extend it for interest or what, and you got to look at the numbers and see if that makes sense, so that maybe you could put, and then there again, I don't know what price range house you're talking about, but then maybe you could put a lease option buyer in there then and collect a non-refundable option deposit and maybe rent it for more than what the payments are going to be. But it's all about the numbers, so you got to evaluate that and see if your lender may be able to do that. So you're saying that the repair cost just ended up costing you a lot more than what you thought it was going to be, right?
Right.
Okay. So that might be one creative way to do it. And again, it's all about the math and the numbers and how they work out. Other than that, yeah, I don't know any other way around it, because your lender's going to call the money due. So you may end up having to sell it and take a loss or whatever. But if there's any way possible you can renegotiate with that lender, that would be your best option.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking about going, because the short-term loan is a hard money loan that I'm only paying interest on. And I was thinking, even if I do a lease option, I have to first exit this hard money loan that's due, because I'm never going to be paying the principal down. I'll just be making interest payments. So if I do something like exit this short-term loan and then get a long-term loan and then lease option the house out, then I'll have, I'll be using the lease option money to pay down the then long-term loan, and maybe over time I'll get the money that I would have lost, if I would have just sold it. So I think I have a way to, I have some questions for the lender now that we had this conversation. So I'll go back to them and talk to them about it.
Yes, because they're wanting to get interest. So you just got to look at it and see what the math looks like and how the numbers work out. And so, and if that's viable or not, because they're going to take the money and they're going to turn it into another deal. So they may extend the terms for you. They may do several things for you, and then you have to see how that's going to play out. But also about the price. So you got to keep that in consideration. Do you see this going up in value? What do you see happening with the house at this point? Are you prolonging the agony, or are you turning it into a way that you can profit? And so keep in mind that even if you get a non-refundable option deposit from your tenant buyer, that's going toward the purchase price. So if you put a tenant buyer in there a year from now, and if you're able to raise the price, then the numbers still have to work out. That's not just going straight to your pocket. You understand what I'm saying, Tim?
I see what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah. So the numbers still have to work out, and so if you did a lease option for a year, then you'd have to raise the price and will it make sense? Will it increase in value in a year? Because then if they're going to cash you out, it's going to have to appraise. You always have the option that, you always have the possibility that they may not exercise their option and walk away from it, but that's not really what you're going into this. You're trying to make it work for people. And so
Right.
I'll do the math to see if this scenario could work.
Okay.
Extending that. Okay.
All right. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Who else has a question?
I've heard Ron talk about using a private money loan to buy out another loan. And I've heard him talk about extending the term with the original loan.
Yes.
And it's like he needs either one of those two or to go ahead and make a sale. But my question is, why did you take a loan with such a short term?
Oh, well, it wasn't a short term. It was a 12 or 13-month loan that just, that the project just took too long, and the contractor was in and out. So it had some issues there. So that's why it's taken so long to sell the property.
So Tim, Derek brought up a very good point there. You know, you can get another private lender where you're not guaranteeing the debt, you're not putting the loan in your name. You can get another private lender depending on the interest you're paying the hard money lender and what you can pay to the private lender. That might be a longer term option if that private lender, if that hard money lender, the current one, will not extend it. So that's an option to change it over to private money and for a longer period of time to pay that off. But you just, again, make sure the numbers work out so that it's benefiting you.
So where can I find a reliable private money lender?
Well, so nobody's going to tell you all their private money lenders because they're private money. But what you do, Tim, is you ask everybody you know, do you want to make a better rate of return than you're currently getting in the bank with CDs or in an IRA secured by real estate? So think of who you know in your Rolodex. I guess Rolodex is a old term, but you all know what I mean here. In your network or your sphere of influence or whoever, and just think of any business owner that you know that wants to make an investment, and you just ask and you start asking and you'd be surprised, especially if you have a deal. When you have a deal, then you have something concrete and specific to discuss with them. So you will find somebody. So it could be anybody that wants to invest, wants to put their money into it. And you'd be surprised. There's so many people out there that do, because they have to put it in something. It's either stocks or real estate or something to make an investment, right?
That's true. Okay. All right. I will explore that route to see how that goes.
Okay. And also, Tim, if you're at if you're part of a local RIA group meeting, there's a lot of investors that'll share, maybe give you some tips, and you can start there, and one person will lead to another person, and you might get some referrals. And most people don't give out their private lenders because they use them, but you never know. You just start asking questions.
Okay. Thank you.
So who else has a question?
Hey, Barbara, I have a quick question.
Hi, Mario.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
What's working for you now as far as marketing? Did you see any change? Are you trying any different methods? What are you seeing now?
Well, marketing is always a test. As far as getting sellers to call you.
Yeah. As far as getting seller leads.
Okay. So you want us, as Ron tells you, are you new starting out?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing mostly outbounds. I post ads on Craigslist, Facebook, but my main marketing is cold calling and text message. Text message hasn't been working well because my account has been suspended a lot. So right now I'm mainly calling feasible and pulling a list and cold calling sellers.
Okay.
And I also post on Craigslist, Facebook. That's what I can do now. But once I start closing more deals, I'm gonna do yellow letters and OPPC, all that inbound type of leads.
So if money is an issue and money's tight, then you want to do all the free to low cost stuff first, and that would include your Craigslist ads. You can post ads on, okay, you're trying to attract sellers, so you can post ads on Nextdoor. There's many sources that you can post ads on. The VA can help you with that and give you some ad resources as well.
Okay.
So that, and then of course, you've got your leads from your Gold Club, and you've got Zillow leads that you can call. Always you want to try to get sellers calling you by putting it out there. You could put ads and post on Facebook. I mean, try posting even. Just get it out there. Looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, no realtors, nice neighborhood, and start posting some posts. And then there's ads, and then you could go into investor groups on Facebook and say you're looking for some wholesale deals. Message you if they have any. So when you're first getting started and if money's tight, then you do all of those free to low cost stuff, and you're looking yourself for FSBOs that are in neighborhoods, and you get field agents looking. You can get field agents, put lettering on their car, cheap, $20, get their car lettered, full price for your house and a phone number. You can have field agents, they could be friends, relatives, people driving around that are business people that are looking for houses that they can give you for $10 a picture of the address, the phone number, the house. So there's field agents, and then obviously the Gold Club. So you want to do all these things, put your signs out inside neighborhoods, up on trees. That's a method too. And then there are things, I'll tell you what might be a low cost thing to get started to get leads, and that is Ron's Deal Finder. It's not Ron's per se, but it's a source that Ron refers. And you can go to ronlegrand.com/deal finder. And what that is, it's a database that uses artificial intelligence to find multiple motivating leads. So meaning that the seller may be an out-of-town owner, but also have a lien. So that's a very low cost, and it's $299 for a 3-month subscription. In addition, you can get 5 additional zip codes for only $100 more. And so after that 3-month subscription, then the cost is going to go to $199 a month. So you got 3 months to go in there for $300. And what they do is, it's artificial intelligence that's going to, and you search those leads. You search for the leads that have the multiple motivating factors. So that's one thing. And plus, right there in Deal Finder, then they can send out postcards. Of course, the postcards are additional cost. And then, so you can get aggressive. You can also look the people up as well, trying to find leads. You can go to fastpeoplesearch.com, truepeoplesearch.com.
Right.
That's free. You can find phone numbers. You can call them. So you ask what's good in marketing. You think in your head, who is a motivated seller? Who needs to sell and not just want to sell? So who would that be? Somebody behind on payment. That might be a pre-foreclosure. That might be a probate. So you want to know the foreclosure laws in your state to know how soon is something going to foreclose, so to know kind of the motivation. So for example, if your state foreclosed, and if you're gonna, and guys, I'm gonna tell you, if you're gonna do foreclosure leads, then pre-foreclosure leads, you want to be committed. This is not one letter that you send. You want to keep sending letters until they're either going to do business with you or they foreclose. This is something you want to follow up on. It's like everything else in marketing. So Mario, listen, the way that marketing works is you see something over and over. For example, you see a commercial, you don't think anything of it the first time, right? But then you see it again, it gets in your head, and then you see it again, and it gets in your head again, and then you start thinking about it. And so same thing with foreclosures, for example, you want to be sending them a series of 6-8 letters so that you are constantly in contact with them. And then I would say call them and follow up and just be there, because they're going to do business with the person that they're familiar, they see, they can connect with. And so that's one example. So you can get these foreclosure leads and probate leads from the county courthouse, and that's in remote areas, but everywhere else it's already on a database that you can get from the financial news section of your county.
Right.
So
I use a similar software to pull my leads. I use PropStream, so I put the leads and I skip trace there.
Perfect.
And then I call and text, but now my texting software is suspended because of the 10DLC registration. I had to register, and as soon as it got back, I'm gonna start doing it again. But right now I'm just doing cold calling and calling feasible. I've been finding some good leads on feasible. They're just not motivated to do like a low down, 0 down. They want like 10, 20% down. So it doesn't make sense, you know. So I'm following up to see if eventually they're gonna lower their down payments.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you got to do is you follow up and ask them this question. What are you going to do at the house if you don't get all cash? or you don't get that down payment. That gives you the knowledge to know what's your motivation. Should I follow up with them or not? And so it's all about follow up. They're going to tell you no first, but that doesn't mean that no is going to stay a no. It just means that it's no for right now. And those are the ones you want to follow up on.
Right.
So
Recently, I read Ron's first book, and in the book, he used to teach you to make 3 offers, 1 cash and 2 terms. Do you think it's still a good idea to make those type of offers?
well, if you follow Ron's script, and the very script that he uses, he says we can either pay you cash or we can make a monthly payment to you. Would you like for me to explain the options, or do you have to have all your cash at closing? So if you pre-screen them, and by the way, guys, that's using your lead sheet, and the language is right there in section B. Let me get it. I'll read it to you exactly. If I can find one, see if I can show it. All right, see this lead sheet? This is your lead sheet. So right there in section B, I'm going to read what it says. So when you're calling in the very beginning, you know if they'll do terms or if they want all cash. It says we can either pay cash or make your payment until you're paid off in the future. The cash price will be considerably less than the payment price, and there are a lot of strong reasons to consider payments if you don't have to have all the cash the day you close. Would you like for me to explain your options for the best deal, or do you have to have all your cash at closing? So you kind of pre-screen them right there. And by the way, the lead sheet says, would you like for my boss to explain it? Well, guys, when you're calling, you are the boss. You're the investor. That's for the VA for that script. So Mario, you are kind of pre-screening them right there.
Okay.
Now, so if they say, well, no, what are the options? So then you know, of course, that you're going to go over to the closing call script, and you're going to use that. You guys know what that is, right? The closing call script, you got that? So that's going to take you through all of the questions, and you're going to first give them the benefits and why it's in their best interest to do that. And then if they say they're interested in the terms for there, then you're going to go to the $1 million script.
Yeah, this one
It
here.
cuts right to the chase. Yeah, the $1 million script just cuts right to the chase to find out, okay, so what's the least you could accept on the price if we agree on terms? Shut up. Is that the best you can do? And then you go on to ask them about the down. And his right here in the script, it says if they want too much, well, we usually buy with nothing down. How close to nothing can you get? So another thing you want to ask these sellers. So you kind of find out their motivation when they say they want 20% down. Some sellers want to go buy another house and they think they got to come up with 20% down to go buy another house, which simply isn't true. You can get a conventional loan for 5% down. So what I do, I used to be this shy person that when I was asking everybody, do you, and they'd say they want all cash, I'd say, okay, shut up and get off the phone. Well, I realized it's about solving problems. So, you know, if they want cash, I said, okay, well, do you have a lot of equity or a little equity? Maybe, because they really want their money out, right? They want their equity out. So sometimes, you know, you might be able to find out if they got just a little bit of equity that you can give them a down payment and still satisfy them and get their money out. So you ask a little bit of questions, you know, what are you going to do? Are you moving? And try to brainstorm how you can get that.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Barb,
Who else has a question?
answer. Ron's going to probably make a course out of that answer.
What answer?
The answer you just gave about finding motivated sellers, having them call you, that was really a thorough answer. And what I've heard that some of the members are also doing is taking all the PI sheets that they couldn't reach. And those are the ones that you text to. And that way there's no worries that Facebook or anybody else is going to ban you from doing it. And I've heard some members get some good response from that.
Well, Derek, you're right. Absolutely. You want to text every lead. every lead every seller that you call and you leave a voicemail, you want to immediately text them. Because I'm telling you, people just don't listen to voicemails anymore, and especially young people. If you ask somebody, they don't even get the voicemail. So you definitely want to text everyone, and here's your text. Hi. Well, they already know your phone. They already have your phone number. Hi, this is Derek, and I'm interested in buying your house at whatever the address is. So now, what I would say is, I left a voicemail but couldn't reach you. That way, they know you're a real person, gives you a little bit more credibility. They don't think you're just a spammer. They don't think you're just some automated voice line, because you really did leave them a voicemail, didn't you? And you're an interested buyer. So, hi, this is Derek. I'm interested in buying your house at 123 Main Street. I left a voicemail but couldn't reach you. Please give me a call back as soon as possible today. So in the text, you want to write out the full address, and I'll tell you why. When you're texting them and they call you back, it's going to pop up on your phone, the SMS, the text message, so you know exactly what house they're calling about. And this is really valuable when I'm at seminars and I'm calling leads for students, and I'm calling everyone and I'm texting everyone. Trust me, I put the address right in there, because when I see them call me back, oh yeah, it's that house, and I can immediately pull the lead. So it's invaluable to text them. Thank you for pointing that out, Derek.
That's really great stuff.
Okay, so who else has a question? There's a lot of people on this call, so obviously you guys have some questions. So
They're all masterminds. You just got one or two newbies like me.
no, I don't believe that. I'm sure there's a lot of newbies in here, and I'm sure that people have questions. So this is your opportunity, everyone, to get on here and ask some questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
How does one get involved in the mentorship program? Meaning, how can I get a mentor?
Well, that's easy. So all you want to do is, Nick, I don't know if Nick's still on the line to give a phone number that you would call for mentoring specifically. Nick, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So,
Yeah, I'll pop that in the chat, but it's course advisor. You can try calling now. Sometimes some of them are there later to talk with West Coast people. But the number is 800-567-6128.
can you repeat that?
Yep, and I'm putting it in the chat as well. 800-567-6128.
Okay. So Tim, did you have some questions about the mentoring program? That I can definitely answer for you.
Pretty much what does it all entail? Will they help with our first or second, deals on the buy and sell side, or what all comes in the program?
Tim, we help with every deal. It is our goal to get you to a deal ASAP. That is our goal as a mentor, and that's what we want to do. We care about the students, all of us. We care about you. We want you to get a deal, and we want to help you with every deal. So it's a 6-month program, and it's 24 calls, and you also have access to the mentors via email. So to answer your question, so we have this call every week. You get on the mentoring call, and so we're going to hold you accountable. We're going to guide you. We're going to tell you how to get leads and consistently follow up to see how you're getting leads. But the most valuable part is that you're going to send those leads to your mentor, and each week we get on the call with you, and we're going to be doing a 3-way call to actually call your seller and negotiate the lead for you. You're going to have the opportunity to have us on the phone negotiating with the seller, where you're hearing us negotiate for you and getting deals and structuring it. And then after a little bit, then we're going to get you on the phone with the seller and have you you talk to the seller while we're listening and there to step in and help you and critique you. And so that's invaluable. And so that is a great opportunity for the mentor to negotiate the leads for you. And that's every week. So you want to send your leads to the mentor before the calls each week so that we can negotiate them for you. And then there's a lot of other things. So Tim, we want to help you get your business going and find out what obstacles are there. Sometimes it's in your head, and sometimes it's just knowledge about real estate. So we're there to help you and guide you and to make you more successful to be able to do your business and every day. Sometimes life obstacles get in the way. And so we look and talk to you and see what is it that's keeping you, what is it that you need, what is it that we need to help you with. And so it's invaluable for those 6 months.
Okay.
Do you have any
And
specific questions about the mentoring program that I can help you with?
you told me a lot, and I think that's good that, how much we get out of it as the mentee in the program. And is the cost, is it really like a set price, or is the mentor going to get a certain portion of the proceeds of the deals, or
No.
Okay.
No, it is a set cost. Nick, are you still on the line?
I'm here.
It's a set cost. And so there's no, I'll let him talk more about that, but there is no, that we don't get a portion of your deal. We're here to help you get a deal. We want you to be successful, and we want you to get all of the profit. But there are opportunities for you to partner with Ron and the mentor through the mentoring program. And so therefore, if it's a terms deal and you need Ron or the mentors through that to put up any money for the purchase or the down payment or the closing costs or costs involved, then you have that option to partner. And the partnership would involve, if Ron puts up money, then it would be, you would get 25% of the deal. But if, but we don't take a portion of your deal. We want to equip you. So Tim, we want to tell you what to do and help you do it. We help you get the contracts done. When you do get a deal negotiated, then you are going to send us if you get one on your own during the week, then you send us a lead, you let us know the terms. We're going to immediately follow up with you to help you structure that deal and help you to get a contract executed. You're going to draft it. We're going to help you review it and tell you what to do to fix it. We're going to set up an appointment. We're going to be on the phone with you to when you go out to that seller's house to talk to the seller on your behalf about that agreement, to go over it with them. So we're going to walk you and hold your hand through the whole way. And so Nick, I'm going to let you touch on the cost of the mentoring there.
I don't have that information. That's all. Yeah, phone
okay.
number.
Well, I have that information, but I didn't know if you had.
Yeah, it varies. There's credit sometimes coming to you, and so the best way, and also the mentoring program, the coaching is not it's by application. We can't accept everybody, so you do have to apply for it, and they'll review, they'll make sure. We just don't want to put anybody in a position where they're going to pay us money and they're not going to get what they need out of it, because either your style that might not be able to work with you, or if you're not great at following instructions and stuff like that, then there's just a little application process that you have to go through there. But go ahead and give that number a call, and they can get those questions to you, so you can fill out the application, and then talk to you about the price too, if it's right for you.
Yeah, they can talk to you about the price, and they can also what you have an option that you can deduct Gold Club points. So I want to encourage all of you to log into your Gold Club every single day, mainly because there's wonderful lesson videos on there. All of your forms and agreements are on there, and you want access to that. Plus, of course, you get the Gold Club leads, but you should access it every day. When you do, you get points. Those points accumulate, and you can use them for purchasing future products and courses and so on. So if you've been a member of Gold Club a while, then you also have the option that you can deduct Gold Club points as a reduction in the cost. So there's lots of other incentives that are available to you. And if you call them the number, then they will tell you all of the discounts that are available to you and walk you through that.
All right, I appreciate it. I got the number written down, so I have a good idea what to do next. I'll speak to them probably tomorrow or Wednesday.
Okay. And Tim, did you have any other questions about the mentoring program that I can answer for you?
Nothing right now. You did answer some questions that I was going to ask, so now I know the answers.
Awesome. Great. That intuition.
For sure.
So who else has a question? There's a lot of participants in here and we want to hear from you. So
I have a question.
Okay.
My name is Nhat Pham. I'm from San Diego, California. And I just joined here. And I'd like to ask you a question regarding the market here. Is it harder to do creative financing deals here compared to other states? Because I live in San Diego.
No, you can do deals all over. And in fact, in San Diego, I imagine the prices are considerably higher than a lot of areas of the country. And so just depends on the amount of buyers there. So you've got creative buyers and sellers, or creative sellers everywhere now. So it's just a matter of asking. And a lot of times the higher end homes, the sellers of the higher end homes are more apt to do terms because you're not looking to get every nickel and dime out of the house as would a seller of a lower priced home.
Okay, thank you. And regarding the marketing cost, I'm a beginner, so I heard a lot of seasoned investors say that it's kind of more expensive for the marketing to compete here. Is that correct? That means I have to spend more money in terms of marketing cost compared to somewhere else, investing in other states.
Well, it depends on what you're doing for marketing, but obviously, we discussed the free and the low cost stuff and where you go from there. So those don't change. So cost of mailers don't change. So I can't think why it would be more expensive to market in your area per se than it would be anywhere else, really.
Oh.
Depending on what you're doing to generate the lead.
Yeah, I intend to do yellow letters because I still have a full-time job, so and then I need to save time to something easy, because I have a full-time job and not time left much. So I like to do something that automation. So I think I'm thinking about yellow letters, and I heard people say that I had to spend they had to spend a lot of money. I forgot now, $10,000 or something dollars. I forgot, but very expensive compared to other states because it's very competitive here.
Okay,
that's what worries me. Yeah.
So now the yellow letter lady charges the same rate to send out to do her letters, Christy King, and she's invaluable for yellow letters. She charges the same rate. It doesn't matter the state. It's the same cost to do the letters. And then what she'll do is connect you with a list provider that can give you lists depending on the list and who you want to market to in your area. So that doesn't change by area of her cost of doing that, since you mentioned yellow letters. And you can follow up with her directly to get a cost, and it's not 10,000. You nowhere near have to start with 10,000. It's much less than that to get started. Now, depending on the list, I don't know what list she's going to provide for you or how extensive that is going to be. There's going to be various lists, but you nowhere near have to start with that. So she can develop a plan that can work with you in your budget for the amount of letters that you want to send and the list that you want to send them to.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry.
Do you have her contact information?
Contact information?
Yes, for Christy King.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And I have one more question.
Okay.
Regarding creative financing deals, I don't have experience. So I mean, like, it's tough for sellers to believe me, I guess, because in letter I saw like Ron said in his letters, like he has so much experience, like, so by starting out, so I don't have that kind of language to put in a letter or talking to people. So how do I overcome that?
Well, typically you're not sending letters. So you're talking to people on the phone. And so you just follow the script and you do it with an air of confidence in your voice. And you usually don't have to worry about that, because when you're talking to a motivated seller, they're interested in doing business with you. And as long as you're confident on the phone and sound like you know what you're talking about, then that shouldn't be an issue at all. So you're not usually sending a letter, you're talking to them and texting them. And guys, you're not negotiating deals on texts normally. You're just texting them to get them on the phone in the range of time when you can actually talk to them. So when you're going through the scripts and you're good at it, then you should win the seller over in just an air of confidence, because they're motivated and they'll want to do business with you, which is another good reason, and brings up another point of, you want to do your practice calls with a partner. And that means using those scripts, Nat, and that's how you're going to get more confidence in your voice and more confidence in what you're doing, and be able to relay that to the seller, because when you get that confidence level, it's going to show, and you'll be able to handle all the objections. So I want to refer you back to Ron's manual, where he has all the objections that a seller would ask. So get good at those. Go over those objections. Use your practice partner to practice your scripts, and have the practice partner go over all the objections multiple times over multiple calls until you really get good at it and you feel comfortable addressing those questions. And then worst case scenario, if the seller asks you a question, you say, you know, that's a very good question, and I can answer that when I come and take a look at the house, but I just have 3 questions to ask you, or just have a couple of questions to ask you first. And then you go back into leading into being a little bit selfish about getting your terms questions answered, because if that doesn't work, then nothing else matters anyway. So you turn them back to getting your terms questions answered, and then you know whether it's a deal worth pursuing or not. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
And the other thing, Nat, is you want to get really familiar with the mistakes that students would make from Ron's manual, and you can easily look them up. And as you're doing those practice calls, make sure you record them and listen to every one of them and play it back and see what mistakes you're making. Look at the manual and look at the mistakes that Ron says that students would make, and practice fixing those mistakes. And when you start doing that, then you're going to get good on the phone, and you're going to have credibility. You're going to have confidence. You're going to give the seller that feeling that you know what you're doing and you're confident. And so I don't think that's going to be an issue with you after that. And so rarely do we send letters unless it's just a seller that we think's really there and on the line. And then, you know, then we would send a letter, or we would send an email too. But basically it's calling and following up with them.
I see. Thank you very much. I think I got like 3 questions, but one question just popped up in my mind.
Okay.
I forget this final question. I'm a new person. I mean, new in business, and I live in San Diego. What would you recommend me start investing here, San Diego, or somewhere else?
Ron always recommends that you invest in your own backyard, because then you're familiar with your area, and then you can actually meet with the sellers. You can meet with, well, buyers, but you are familiar with your own backyard, and you have hands-on and boots on the ground, and can do the deals there. Not that you can't do it somewhere else, but that's what he would recommend you start with.
Okay, I will do that. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, guys. Who's next?
This is all really great. If we have time, I want to try one last question. And
Hi, Derek, go ahead.
yeah, one last thing. I recently attended virtual quick start. At the end, there's 35 questions. Somehow I missed the fact that those questions were answered at the end of the quick start. Somehow I missed that. So is there any way that I could turn in my answers to find out which ones I got wrong?
No, there's nobody available to go over your test and your answering sheets that I know of. But I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know who to refer you to on that, but there's an easy solution to that. Just go into the quick start manual and look up the answer. It should be in your quick start manual. Then you know that, well, you don't know which one's right or which one's wrong, right?
Right, I'm trying to find out which ones I may have gotten wrong.
Okay, on the virtual, I don't know. I guess it goes over the answers at the end. I don't know if that's posted anywhere or not. I would guess not.
No,
So,
it's not. He only goes over those answers at Quick Start and he does them live. And we don't have those recordings, available anywhere. Yeah, I mean, the best you get to repeat Quick Start 11 times in the year for free, and then only $500 to repeat after that. So that's probably the only way to get those answers. Yeah, is actually to have Ron go over it again.
but I got a great idea for you. Just go back and look up the answers in the book, and then you'll be reinforced that you know that answer. And so go look at the question and look it up and see if you can find the answers to all the questions back in there, and that just goes over it. And I'll tell you, you went through this and you just don't get everything the first time. And I tell people like this, I'm Ron's sister and I didn't get it from osmosis. It's not hereditary. It doesn't run in the genes. So I had to pick up the book a lot of times and go over it. So this is a great reason for you to just go over the book and reinforce that the answer that you put down is the right answer, because then you'll know for sure, and then go over the material again.
Okay, thanks. Thanks a lot.
Welcome, Eric. Larry, do you have a question? You look happy and you got this great look on your face, and I was just wondering, do you have a question I can answer for you?
You talking to me?
I am. How you doing, Larry?
I have a lot of questions, but I'm getting them answered, and I appreciate getting to set in on this. So,
Okay.
nothing that will take up any of your time tonight. Maybe sometime in the future. We're basically working on some trying to help educate some people to private lending, and that's kind of where we are. We've got some property. We do kind of specialize with the young mothers that are going through a divorce, single moms, and the two properties we have, we put them in as a lease option, and finding out all kinds of things that we're still learning.
That's great. Glad to see you're doing that, Larry. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So somebody put in the chat, I'm a Gold Club, Sharon put in the chat, I'm a Gold Club member and the 2 counties I chose have very few FSBOs. How can I locate better seller areas? Well, you can select different counties that you can get Gold Club leads from, go to other surrounding counties nearby and try those. You can add them and you can change the counties from time to time. So there's a couple things you want to test and see if it's just the county, or maybe make sure you're getting the Gold Club leads, but you can change them up from time to time. So if you're not in an area with a lot of population, then you might want to change to the surrounding county that has more population that you might get more leads from. So I'm guessing Anna's connecting. No, I guess she's just connecting to audio. So, all right, guys, sitting here waiting for questions. So come on in so I can answer some questions.
I put in a chat box about, you went through some websites a while back, and I didn't catch them. And so I put if those websites can be emailed to me, I put that in a chat box. I'd appreciate it. You mentioned 3 or 4 real quickly.
Websites that you can post ads on.
I don't know. I think it was before that. There was, I was trying to remember, and
What are the websites for?
it's what can't remember now, but you mentioned 3 or 4 right in a row. I was thinking it was before that. It was one of the very first ones you mentioned, and it got away from me. And
Okay.
even what it was about, I just know, that would be something good to have.
All right. Well, Larry, one of the websites that I mentioned, one of the sites references was what Ron's Deal Finder for getting leads. Was that what you're talking about?
No, I think I've got that already.
Okay.
I'm not sure, maybe it was something about, I'm not sure if it was about funding or something, it was something else there not too long after I got on, and I'd had trouble with my computer and I didn't get on very early. And so it was right after I got on. So it was probably about 20 minutes into the program. Is this this is recorded?
Yes.
Okay. I think maybe,
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
recorded and we'll post it on Gold Club. So
Okay.
you'll see it probably tomorrow, and definitely you'll see it in the weekly.
okay, that I can probably run it back. And if Barbara, if you think of it, why, my email's on there.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I mentioned that you can put ads in Craigslist to get sellers calling you, and also Nextdoor. Are you guys familiar with Nextdoor? What Nextdoor is? Are you, Larry?
Did you mention that?
I think so. I'm not sure. I think so, but Nextdoor.
Yeah, you did. Nextdoor, Facebook, and Craigslist.
Okay, that's it. So
Maybe
Nextdoor.
maybe it was next door. Tell me what that was. What was that about again?
Okay, Nextdoor. Nextdoor.
What was it about?
That is a site that all of you can participate in, and it's your local media site. It's another social media site. They ask for your local address. Now, if you have a property, for example, an investment property, you can go and sign up and use that property address for another account too. But Nextdoor is a place that sellers do post that they have houses for sale, and you can put ads in there for free by saying, I buy houses, any condition, etc. The same unique selling proposition that Ron would use from his manual, you can put an ad in there for free on Nextdoor. So you can not only.
I don't think that was it. I don't think that was it, but that's still a good one to have. Nextdoor what? Nextdoor.com?
Yes,
Okay. Thanks.
you're welcome. So, and if you'll get with your VA, there's a lot of other sites that you can post ads. Some are free, those are free. There's some that's paid, some are very inexpensive. Your VA can also make recommendations for sites that you can post and pay a fee for.
Okay. I'll give that some run around here and see what we come up with. Thanks.
You're welcome. And then Facebook, I mentioned, that's also free. You can post on Facebook, you can post ads, and you can just put post.
Yeah, we've used several of those, but somehow Nextdoor hadn't heard that before. But if
I lost you on your audio.
I think if I can think what it was, why I'll probably catch it when I get in there, when I get to review this again. Thanks.
You're welcome.
There's Every Door Direct, and that's not free, but the Postal Service offers that program, and it's not free, but it's pretty cost effective. Every Door Direct.
Yes, you can use that for sending out letters and postcards for areas. Who else has a question?
Looks like you got them all.
Maybe. Everybody's tongue-tied now? No more questions?
Well, that's good, because we're already 15 minutes over.
Okay, so is it just an hour or an hour? I didn't know.
Just an hour,
An
yep.
hour and a half. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us tonight and continue to take action.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So get out there and create some deals and take some massive action, and I'll see you on next time. And anything coming up, Nick, you want to talk to them about that? You guys know that the Quick Start is happening in Las Vegas next week. So if you don't know about that, that's coming up. And then the next virtual, I don't know when the next virtual is, but you
This
can go-
virtual's pretty far. We have the one after
Yeah.
that is in March in
Okay.
Jacksonville. So
That's right. There's another Quick Start in March in Jacksonville. Come see that and I'll see you there. I won't be
Thank
able
you.
to make it to the Las Vegas one, but I will definitely be in the Jacksonville one. So I hope to see you guys there. And so anyway, you guys have a great evening.
Thank you, Barbara.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Night.
Bye bye.
Thank-
Thank you.
Bye.
Good.